So this is actually a video that I've been wanting to make since the release of Resident Evil 4 Remake this year, but never got around to it. But in today's video, what we're essentially going to be talking about is possibly the only rumor that turned out to be true for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now I say possibly because, to be honest, I'm not going to go back in time and look at all of the rumors. During the time before Resident Evil 4 Remake's launch, there were so many freaking rumors that were just plain ridiculous. You know, like I could just name a couple from the top of my head. Like there was so many our Resident Evil YouTubers that were just posting nonsense that they were hearing on Twitter, nonsense that they were hearing on Reddit, and they were just making videos upon videos upon videos, just making people hyped for absolutely no reason. Now, some examples of some of these wild rumors that I can remember are like Krauser is not going to be a part of the game. You know, the island section is going to be completely erased. You know, the Verdugo is going to stalk you throughout the whole entirety of the castle. They were just wild rumors, just trying to get people hyped. You know, another wild theory / rumor that I was hearing is that the Hookman was going to return in Resident Evil 4. Just really stupid stuff that made absolutely no sense. If anything, this sparked a lot of conversation on my channel during this time before Resident Evil 4 Remake's launch, where I'm like, dude, you guys don't believe everything you hear on the internet. But at the end of the day, a lot of those people that were posting this kind of nonsense on Twitter, on YouTube, those people, you know, all their credibility went out the window. So when all of that stuff was happening with Resident Evil 4 Remake, you know, the only rumor that actually turned out to be true was a rumor that I honestly trashed. This happened around 2 years. This was actually the beginning of my channel. I completely trashed this rumor because, for starters, there wasn't that much evidence. But it is worth noting, before I get, oh, you were wrong in the comments. No, in that video, I specifically stated that when it comes to rumors, there's always a chance that it could be true. So I was just talking about it from a Resident Evil perspective. And sure enough, the funny thing is that was the only rumor that turned out to be true. The only rumor. Now, as mentioned, there's so many other rumors, and I'm not going to keep a whole list of them, so let me know down in the comments if you guys know of any other rumors that did actually turn out to be true. Now, the rumor that I'm talking about here is the rumor regarding DC Douglas having a concept art of Wesker for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, we've all played Resident Evil 4 Remake, and we now can see, looking back, that concept art was actually 100% true, even though it looked completely bad. It's one of the worst concept arts. I don't take back anything that I said about me critiquing the concept art. Wow. I honestly, when I played Resident Evil 4, I was actually super shocked. Those that caught it in the stream when I did my first playthrough, a lot of you guys are probably like, you probably heard me say, wow, that rumor was true. Anyways, yeah, so the whole rumor basically started because DC Douglas was apparently, allegedly, I should say, grooming his fans, and he basically sent a couple of them this image. And he basically said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, you know, keep this on the down low since there's NDAs involved, but look, this is a new look at Wesker for Resident Evil 4 Remake. Now, it is worth noting that, you know, I'm not going to be talking about whether that was allegedly true, whether, you know, DC Douglas was grooming his fans. At the end of the day, and this is something that I even stated 2 years ago in that video where I critiqued this rumor, was, you know what, if an actor is, you know, grooming his fans, that would not be surprising to me, since, you know what, with the whole Me Too movement, and also recently I actually just saw with the news that Danny Masterson from that 70s shows just got convicted to 30 years, I heard. I don't know, I just was scrolling through Twitter and I actually just saw that and I was like, bro, whoa. So I did hear about that a couple of months ago, but you know what, so at the end of the day, when it comes to successful actors, it's not surprising to me that, you know, that's one of the reasons why they call it Hollyweird, because there's a bunch of people out there. So whether that was actually happening or not, I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a drama channel. But what I am going to go into is, it kind of just begs the question, was DC Douglas slated to actually play Wesker in Resident Evil 4 Remake? Because if that was the case, and then him breaking his NDA by sending his fans, you know, concept art, and him kind of ruining that, did he get fired on the spot? What was that whole process like? You know what I mean? Like, what was, you know, obviously we know that the picture that he sent to his fans was true. We know that that's true. Now, whether or not he was grooming his fans, again, not important to the actual core story of what we're actually discussing here, the core topic of what we're discussing. But, you know, it just begs the question, was he supposed to play Wesker? Because if so, I think a lot of fans would agree with me in saying that that's kind of a shame. Now, again, you know, whether or not he actually did that allegedly, you know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I make a habit of, you know, always separating the art from the artist. And there's no denying here that DC Douglas is a great voice actor. He's done so many great jobs at portraying so many different characters. You know, I just played a recent game, Jedi Fallen, sorry, not Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor a couple months ago, and I had no idea that he was actually one of the villains in that game until after. I'm like, this voice sounds a bit familiar, but I can't pinpoint it. And then sure enough, I searched it up and I was like, oh, that's DC Douglas. So, you know, as mentioned, I don't know whether or not that happened, but that's not really the point of this video. What I'm actually just bringing to the table here is if DC Douglas was supposed to play Wesker, that would have been awesome. You know, as a Resident Evil fan, that would have been awesome, because I thought, you know, DC Douglas did a phenomenal job at playing and portraying Wesker in Resident Evil 5. Now, I do know that there's a bunch of fans out there that do say that Wesker was over the top in Resident Evil 5. And for those fans that say that, you know, I don't disagree with that, you know, but I would also argue that all of Resident Evil 5 is pretty much over the top. When it comes to its story, to its characters, it's very over the top. It's almost James Bond-esque. You know, you have a villain, a super villain, and at the end, you know, he is trying to do world domination, essentially. You know, he's trying to push evolution to the next phase by literally killing billions of people. So when it comes to stuff like that, that is over the top. So, you know, Wesker's portrayal, you know, DC Douglas's portrayal of Wesker in Resident Evil 5, I thought it fit really well. You know, I really like the whole Neo, you know, the you can see clear inspirations from the Matrix as well that were in, you know, Wesker's design, Wesker's look. But all in all, I think a lot of fans will agree with me in saying that Resident Evil 4 Remake, the Wesker for that one was kind of toned down. Really toned down. If anything, I didn't have an issue with Wesker. I should state that, and I'm pretty sure I stated this in the review, my review of Resident Evil 4 Remake. But honestly, I thought the new Wesker was kind of just brought me back to like the OG Wesker from, you know, the first Resident Evil game, you know, with Pablo Kuntz. You know, there wasn't really a mid-transatlantic accent, you know, there wasn't really that there wasn't that aspect of the character in the new Resident Evil 4 Remake. But of course, there's only so many lines that we can basically hear from the new Wesker. Obviously, Separate Ways is releasing, and I'm sure we'll get a more of a better look at the portrayal of Wesker in that DLC, which I will be streaming once it releases, by the way. But at the end of the day, it's worth noting that, you know what, the only thing that I basically wanted to discuss in this video is that if DC Douglas was supposed to play Wesker again and reprise his role in Resident Evil 4 Remake, that kind of sucks that he went out and just screwed it up. I should also mention that during that time also, when the rumors were kind of, you know, being released on Twitter, you know, there was that whole incident where DC Douglas did actually just cancel his Twitter. I don't know if he's brought it up since. I don't follow the actor. So I guess the question here is, if DC Douglas was supposed to replay Wesker in Resident Evil 4 Remake, would you guys have liked that? Would you not have liked that? Let me know your thoughts. Really curious to hear. Now, if you guys enjoyed this discussion / theory, then make sure to click this video where I basically discuss how Luis Serra could make a return in a future Resident Evil game. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.